Hi folks, hope you're well. So this one. I said before that the mind is our enemy, because it is. And you can see it time and time again. You can see it on TV. You can see it in other areas. But when you see certainly the people on the right, when they talk about the people on the left, they get so stressed about what they're doing. And most of it doesn't matter. Doesn't really. Not really. It doesn't, because you getting stressed about it, is it going to change it? No. People get stressed about, they support it from the view of Israel, or they support it from the view of Palestine. And they get so stressed about what the other side, who cares? Sorry, it's not for you to worry about that. The reality is, it isn't. If you're in a position where you can do something about it, then worry about it. The point of it is that people think that God wants them to be weighed down by such things. God wants them to be weighed down by all that crap. That's what people think. No. That stuff comes from the devil. It doesn't come from God. The devil wants you to be stressed. The devil wants you to be not at peace, not at rest, not with a sound mind. He wants your mind to be messy, disturbed, and stressed. But that's not God. God doesn't want that. But people think, any issue in the world, he wants you to care about that. He wants you to... No. I couldn't care less about any of it. None of it matters. Unless I'm in a position to do something about it, I'm not supposed to be caring about it. I'm not supposed to be stressing about it. Yes. Are there things going on in the world right now that are not good? Yes. Yeah. Can I do anything about it? No. So, okay, I need to trust God that I can leave it up to the people who are supposed to deal with it to actually deal with it. Because that's the reality. Yeah, okay. We have this situation in Israel. We have this situation in Ukraine. Yeah. But for all of time, there have been wars. All the time, there have been people invading other people. There have been people trying to take other people's land. It's always happened. Why is it such an issue now? It's always happened. It's always been something that's happened. For goodness sake, as I say, I live in the UK. In the UK, we've been invaded by the Normans. We've been invaded by the Vikings. We've been invaded by the Romans. We've been invaded. The whole genetics of the UK has been changed and changed and changed and changed and changed. And that's a good thing. It is. Because, as I said before, we've always had wars. And because we've always had wars, we've always had men going to war. We've always had men being wiped out. So we've always had that situation where the men remaining had to mate with the women that were young enough to bear children. And so if there was 100 men remaining in that town, those 100 men had to mate with over 1,000 women. But the problem is, every time there's a war, this same thing happens. Every time there's a war. Every time there's an invasion, the same thing happens. Those that are left have to do that. Because otherwise, in the future, you've got no men. You've got no humans in your country at all. Your country will die out. Certainly you, as Brits, will die out. So therefore, you've got to keep the generations going, right? And so therefore, you have issues where you have people then mating with people that are their relatives. So invasions sort that out, don't they? Wars sort that out. If you're invaded by the Romans, now basically most of the DNA would be from Romans. Then we get invaded by the Normans, so therefore most of the DNA changes from Roman to Norman, or it's a mixture of both Roman and Norman. Then we get invaded by the Vikings, and therefore, their DNA gets mixed with the DNA of the Romans and the Normans, and the original Brits. So now, we've got quite a healthy DNA now. We wouldn't have had that if there wouldn't have been so many invasions. So, invasions are part of life. They always have been. And that situation over there, people see it from one view or the other. They see that either Palestine is evil or Israel is evil. One of them has to be evil. Well, what if they're both? Not great. What if they've both done bad things? Well, that's going to completely ruin everything, isn't it? Because then, who do you pick? You've got to be on the side, right? Well, now you can't be on any side. If you understand they've both done bad things, they've both done evil things in the past, and they're about level with each other in that way, then, you can't pick anyone. And the problem is everyone wants to be on a side. Everybody wants to take a side. Don't. Don't, because guarantee you one thing, God is not taking sides. If God is not taking sides, those people that are his should not be taking sides. At all. Should not be. We have far bigger things to focus on. One being our relationship with God, because if we can't deal with our relationship with God, then we can never be used by God to bring people to him. Simple. We are worthless and useless if we can't get our relationships with God better and as they should be. Well, if we don't allow God to do so. That has to be our focus rather than understanding how to walk. It's far more important than understanding what's going on in Israel and Palestine. Because that is something you can do something about. And if you can get that working better, then maybe God will send you to that region because maybe you can be a difference. Then. Right now you can't be because you're taking sides. God doesn't want you to have an unsound mind. The devil wants that. God doesn't want you to take sides. The devil wants that. Focus on the things that God wants you to focus on. For goodness sake, there is so much going on in the world. It would depend upon the TV networks you watch, or the newspapers you read, or whatever, the YouTube channels you enjoy. But there's enough out there for you to be stressed to the point that you want to cut your own throat. If you decide you want to take that course of being stressed, of taking all those problems onto yourself. Yeah. The only problems I can take up on myself are the ones that I have. My problems are my issue. All that stuff out there, that's for God to deal with. If he tells me he wants me to do something, then I have to step up and do it. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit and I'm going to focus on him rather than all that. Because That is what a son is supposed to do. So yeah. This whole thing that we want to be pressured and we want all this crap coming in. Disturbing stuff all the time. Yeah. I would advise let it all go. And again, I'm not going to tell you how to do that. That's between you and God. God will tell you how to do that. My job is to point you to Him. It's not to point you to me. Because if I'm the one with all the answers, then I become your God. And that's not going to help you or me in any way, shape or form. No. No. I'm not someone who's ever going to say to anyone, I'm happy to be your spiritual father. My job is to point to your real spiritual father. So there you go. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.